Hi everybody. Right now, if you are watching this video, you are at the point where you're going to start working on your action plan for your career portfolio. So just a little bit of a review of about where we're at. You're developing these career portfolios, and right now you're in the career portfolio module. And when you scroll all the way down, you're going to see a new section that's added called Action Plan. Now, you're going to see a bunch of links, which I'll talk about in a little bit. These links are going to be reorganized by the time you watch this video. However, these links will still be there. So we are going to now focus on our action plan. And you can do a couple of things, and you can actually open up the PowerPoint for this by clicking on action plan, and it will open up to a window like this. And we'll just go ahead and expand this here. So the question that we're going to ask in this video in the next few minutes for your portfolio is, what is your action plan? Now remember, in your Google site, which you are constructing, there is an entire section in your career portfolio called Action Plan. And it has some distinct sections that we are going to talk about. So we're going to give you this information, and then you're going to go ahead, and one of the things you're going to start doing is building your action plan section that's going to have these 5 distinct sections on career exploration, education goals, interest exploration, and skill development. As I walk through this PowerPoint, again, you're going to have a copy of this PowerPoint, but also make sure you are writing notes down. Feel free to just pause the video, write notes down if you need to. You can always access this PowerPoint and these videos at later dates, but we do want you to have an organized method of taking notes, because before you actually start building your action plan on your site, on your career portfolio, we are going to need to approve any notes that you take regarding your action plan. So make sure you are writing things down. All right. So what is your action plan? We talk about why career planning is really important. And just to give you some stats, the average person, think about this, the average person works 14 jobs in their life. And this is a statistic that is really true. And I just thought back to my life. I'm 27 years old. I started a job when I was a freshman in high school. It was my first job ever. And already, if you look at what I've done, I have worked as a custodian, an administrative assistant, a camp counselor, a waiter, a factory worker, a food service worker, a food service supervisor, a bank teller, a personal banker, and a teacher. Now that's already, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jobs, and I'm only 27 years old. Now, I plan on being a teacher for quite a long time, so might pan out to be 10. But just think about that. You're going to have a lot of different jobs, and it's important that as you're going through these jobs that you have some type of plan. And what you're going to find is that this plan is going to change. Your interests may change, especially from now until you graduate high school. And if you go to 2-year college, 4-year college, if you go get an apprenticeship or training, your interests will change. But you need some type of plan. You need to start formulating that plan now, so you know really what do you want to do. Because you're going to have a lot of different jobs. And if you actually look back at the list, I have these jobs that are very different. Being a camp counselor is very different from being a waiter. Being a custodian is very different from being a teacher and a bank teller. So you're going to start exploring some jobs, especially part-time jobs. But what we want to help you do right now is come up with an action plan. And when we come up with an action plan, we want you to actually set some goals for your education, ways you can explore careers, ways you can explore your interests, and ways you can develop your skills, your talents, and your abilities. First thing we want to talk about is education. When you think about education, every job is going to have a path for education, a certain path that you follow. Right now you're going to make decisions about what electives you're going to take here at STEM. Next year, as 8th graders, you're going to need to make big decisions about courses you want to take in high school. And then comes the big decision: what do you want to do after high school? Do you want to go to a 2- or 4-year college? 2-year college like Waukesha County Technical College, UW-Waukesha; 4-year college like Carroll, UW-Milwaukee, UW-Madison, all of those. Do you want to do an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship is meant for a lot of trades, such as carpentry. Right after high school, you get to work under a master carpenter who trains you for a few years. Maybe you're going to go into the military. What do you want to do after that? So one of the things you're going to formulate in your action plan are steps in your education. What are some things you want to do now in middle school? What are some courses you want to take? What are some areas of study that you want to explore? Also, when we talk about post-secondary, what specifically do you want to explore? What specifically do you want to study? Me personally, I was a business major at UW-Madison, business management and international business. I actually got to study abroad and live overseas in Italy for 6 months, which was really cool. And then I graduated from Madison, and then I went to a teacher program at UW-Whitewater to get my license. And so you're going to take different routes like that. The second thing you're going to want to do is right now you want to start actually exploring careers of interest. This is called career exploration. Now, you might be wondering, as a seventh grader, what can I do now to explore careers? A few things you can do. Start getting part-time jobs. It happened to me. I became a custodian between my 8th grade and 9th grade year. I was a custodian for 3 summers in the school. And that to me was really interesting because it actually allowed me to get a little bit more exposure to schools. And that kind of fueled, believe it or not, being a custodian actually fueled my passion to be a teacher. And so what can you do to start exploring your careers of interest? I was a camp counselor when I was in college. I was a camp counselor for 1 summer. That also influenced me to be a teacher. Working with kids is something I really like to do. When I was a food service worker, I was a supervisor in college as well. I worked at the cafeteria on campus of UW-Madison, and that influenced me to go into business because I was managing and supervising people, something that I also really enjoy. And now I'm a business teacher. I combine both of those things. So what are some part-time jobs that you could do now to help you explore careers of interest? Think about that. Something else that we encourage all of you to do before you graduate high school is to job shadow. We had to actually do a job shadowing project when I was in high school, and we actually shadowed. I actually shadowed an assistant district attorney for the county I lived in. Who can you shadow? A job shadow is where you simply just basically you follow a person around all day. You see what they do. You ask them questions, and if you call up a person and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in this career," organize for your parents to drop you off. A lot of employers will say, "Yeah, we'll have you job shadow for the day." So that's something that we encourage all of you to do. You can start interviewing parents, relatives, teachers, and adults in the community just to explore, what do certain careers require? What would I have to do to become, to actually have this career and be employed in this career? So ways to explore careers. What can you do to explore your interests? This is, every job you have, it's going to be because of some interests that you have. So maybe you're going to join school or community organizations like student council, all the after-school clubs we have, even things like chess club, to explore interests that you have. Are you going to learn a new hobby? Mark Zuckerberg is one of his famous, Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, basically he was just crunching computer codes in the dorm room, and look where he's come now. He's become one of the most successful business people of our generation. And maybe you're going to learn a new hobby to explore interests. Maybe you're going to try something new. I joined an organization called FBLA in high school, the Future Business Leaders of America. I ended up becoming a state officer, and now I'm a business teacher. So really, you go through all of these things. What are some ways that you can explore your interests now in middle school and as you get into high school? And how are you going to develop your skills? Your skills are specific things, specific abilities and talents that you have. It's not necessarily an interest. An interest is just something you like. But skills are things you're going to work on developing. It's like in sports, practice, practice, practice. Maybe you're going to build and design models. You really want to work on your abilities to design things. Maybe if you want to go into music, you're going to practice an instrument. Maybe you're going to participate in competitions. When I was in FBLA, one of the skills I picked up was public speaking, because I spoke a lot and I spoke competitively. Maybe you're going to do that. Future cities, think about all the skills that brings and explore vision as well. So think about your skills. What can you do to develop those? So here's your task. You're going to select your career, which all of you have already done, and you're going to create your own action plan using your Google site as your base. You're going to build in all of your information there. You're going to explain what you can do now and in the future to prepare for your career interest. But we want you to consider jazzing up your plan by inserting graphics, web links, and even embedding Google presentation slides. There's a little video in your learning module, which you will all see, that can show you how to do that if you want to come up with a Google presentation Google slides to put in. But don't just, we don't want you to just write a bunch of text, but maybe you can put some pictures, some graphs, and maybe you can link off to a college that you think would be cool, or information about a major or a year plan of study. So that's what we want you to do. We want you to start developing those sections. So when we look at the portfolio, you can see that we've divided the portfolio up into career exploration, education goals, interest exploration, and skill development. So we want you to have information for all of these areas. Okay. Specifically, we want you, one section is under goals, want you to simply set 5 goals that you will set for yourself so that you can explore this career interest. 5 specific goals. Talk about that in a minute. A possible education path. What kind of middle school and high school classes? What are you going to do after school, post-secondary, after high school? What do you think you would need to do? What would you need to do in order to get your career that you're focusing on? What would you have to do? Number 3. How are you going to explore this career? You're going to do part-time jobs, job shadow. How are you going to explore your interests? Join a club at school, take up a new hobby. How are you going to develop your skills? You're going to practice. You're going to join a specific club so you can work on your ability to design things. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. When you set 5 goals, we want them to be specific, realistic, and timely. A bad goal: I want to become a robotics superstar in the next 6 years. I don't know what that means. That's the problem. We don't know what that means, so is it really realistic? Okay, but a good goal would be, in 8th grade, I want to join VEX Robotics so that I can develop my skills in robotics and electronics. It's a specific goal, something very specific. It's realistic because we have VEX Robotics here at STEM, and it's timely because you told me when you want to do it. So the big difference between these goals, we want you to write a goal that's specific and detailed, that's something that really can be done, and that you've given a time frame. You're going to do it in 8th grade, high school, after high school, whatever that may be. And then we have some other resources here, which I'm actually going to show you right now. So when you go in, again, career exploration, education goals, interest exploration, and skill development. You're going to put information regarding your career, so an education path, for instance, that would lead you to your career in this section. In Blackboard, we have built in numerous resources for you to use. Specifically, and we won't go into them right now, but off to the side here, there's a link. And again, we're going to reorganize this a little bit, so it's going to look a little bit different, but all these links will be there. There's a little YouTube video on embedding a Google presentation into a Google site. If you want to do that, you can actually create PowerPoint type presentations in Google Docs. So if you want to do that, we can talk about doing that. Science Buddies and Next Vista and WISC Careers are information on careers themselves. Next Vista has videos that relate to careers. Science Buddies focuses on STEM careers, so you can get a little bit more information on those. And of course, WISC Careers has information. That's the site you did your survey on, and that's the site that will give you a lot of information on your careers. Waukesha High School. Here, something really neat that we have linked up for you, course catalogs for all the Waukesha high schools. So you can go in and you can look at, these are the classes I would have to take in high school. STEM Academy course guide and STEM Academy 8th grade course registration sheet. If you haven't seen this already, courses you can take here at STEM. And then we have some college things. We have links to college major charts, information about colleges, private colleges, University of Wisconsin system, the technical colleges for 2-year programs. Explore these things. There's one thing in here called a course catalog. It's a little bit more complex to read, but it has some great information on college programs. So go ahead and explore these things. What kind of education path would I take? In high school, not just your courses, what clubs would I join? So go ahead and explore these resources. Again, we're going to reorganize them, but at the end of the day, your goal is to get this action plan section developed. Look at the PowerPoint, it's there for you. And if you have any questions, talk to Ms. Schaefer, Mr. Brookins, Mrs. Joy, myself, anybody that can help you with careers. We've all explored careers before. We all have careers, and we can help you in any way possible with this. Have a great time doing it.